Yo guys, what's going on? Pandrea here, back with another video. In today's video, we are talking about one of the first card controls that I ever learned from one of the first magic books that I ever bought, if not probably the first magic book that I bought. It was the Card Magic of Paul Le Paul. When I was like 12 years old, I probably bought it for like 12 bucks. And in this book, there's a lot jam-packed in it with things that we all use even today. For example, the Le Paul spread is in there, and something called a flourish and a pass, which we all know as a spread pass, is also in there. So I learned all of these things when I was growing up, learning sleight of hand and learning magic. And one of the things that stood out is this fan control that for some reason a lot of people don't know about. It's a way to get an in-jog on a card, which is super useful because you don't have to hold a break all the time. And a lot of times when we do controls and we put the card back, you hold an awkward break. And if you do any sort of patter talk and everything, holding a break like this, especially how some of you guys do it, like I swear I see things like this where they shove their whole finger in it. That sounded wrong. So getting an in-jog is really important, and this is one of the best ways to do it. So let's jump right into how it looks and then learn it. Alright, so you have a card selected. Let's say it is the Queen of Clubs like this, and when they place it back into the pack, they place it in this nice little fancy fan, push it in all the way, and all you gotta do is that. Just square up the fan, and you have complete control over the card at all times because you have this nice little in-jog that you've created from the control, and from here all you got to do is lift up, do a double undercut or whatever you want, and have it control to the top. So this one is a very easy control, but I think it's very nice because of the fact that a lot of controls, especially when you're starting out, this is what tends to happen. You have a card selected and they place it back, and then you go ahead and you put your finger in there and you get a break automatically. Now a lot of the times this is the first step that you need to go into any control that you want, whether it's a pass or even a double undercut or what have you. But a lot of the times what people, especially beginners, overlook are things like in-jogs, like steps, like different types of ways to have control of the card without controlling it to the top just yet. So one of the best things you can do is in-jog the card. Now if you don't know what an in-jog is, this is basically it in an exaggerated form where it is in-jogged or jog towards you, right? So the in-jog, that would be out-jog. This would be side-jogged. In-jog is towards you, and this is obviously exaggerated. We don't want to do that. When we want to get an in-jog, you want it maybe the length of the border, okay? So if the border was however thick this border is, you want it just enough so that you barely can see the card, especially from this angle. So this looks very, very fair, and what you don't realize from the front is that you know exactly where the card is, so when it's time to do your control, you can pick up on it like this, grab your break, then do a double undercut or two cuts to the table, or a pass or a shuffle to bring it up to the top. Now just in case that you do want to get an in-jog without doing this control, it would look something like this. The easiest way to do it is to push it in from the front, and then as you push it, you're going to start diagonally pushing it in. So instead of pushing it flush, you're pushing it like this, okay? And you're going to push it so that it starts sticking out from here. All right, and then your fingers of your left hand, so you want to push it in so it's also a little bit towards you. And now your left fingers, when they squeeze together, will create that in-jog like that. All right, so slow motion, it would look like this. Diagonally push it in, and then these fingers square up. All right, so then you do it at speed. It looks like that, and then you have it in-jogged, all right? And that's better than, because you could be free like this with your hands, so that's better than getting a break. So that's just a way to get the in-jog. Now here's I think the best way to get an in-jog is to do it off a pressure fan. So this was in the book, The Card Magic of Paul Le Paul, and it just works. It's really, really nice, and it feels great when you do get it down, because even for you, you feel like maybe you lost the card. So we're gonna start with a pressure fan. So you're gonna do a pressure fan. If you don't know a pressure fan, I'm sure there are tutorials that will teach you, but you don't need to do a pressure fan. It is, I think, better with a pressure fan for a few reasons. You can do a thumb fan as well, and then have the card placed back. But the thing between the pressure fan and a thumb fan is the pressure fan is larger, And this will help because the card will not get pushed in all the way. All right, so this will help. A larger fan will help with that rather than a smaller one of a thumb fan because you don't want it sticking out too much before you do the close. All right, so I'm going to do a pressure fan, and if you don't know, here's really quickly. Just create pressure like this with the fingers. All right, I use my thumb in the middle, first finger, middle finger, and ring finger here. Bow down, grip it in this position. All right, so it's like this and like this. And I'm going to start the fan action, come in a clockwise rotation, and keep going until I hit this part right there. Okay, so the speed is what really makes it flow, I guess, evenly. If you do it and it's not sort of one take, then it would come out in clumps, and that also happens when you do a thumb fan. It could come out in clumps if you don't do it sort of fast like that. All right, and it really depends on the quality of the deck as well. This is a semi-used deck, but in any case, that's how you want to start. All right, now the card is selected and placed back into the middle. You can go ahead and have them place it back anywhere that they want. So they're going to do this, and a lot of times they're going to do this and not push it in all the way. All right, so this is the majority of the time what happens, and you're going to take advantage of this by pushing it in yourself by doing this. And I try to cover it as much as I can when I do that with my right hand. So I do this, but at the same time I'm going to squeeze from my thumb and these fingers. I'm squeezing down like this. All right, and what's that going to do is it's going to allow the card, it's not going to allow it to get pushed in all the way flush. As you can see, it's still sticking out, so that when you do the close, it will be out jogged. Now this is exaggerated, you don't want it that much, but you still want it to not be pushed in all the way. So they're gonna do this. You could even tell them at this point, go ahead, push it in. They're gonna push it in, and you just put pressure. So I'm squeezing now with the thumb and the fingers right here. I'm squeezing down, and when they push it in, look what's gonna happen. It's going to not be pushed in all the way, all right? So that's really nice because now, and you could feel it too. Try to push it in all the way, but squeeze at the same time. You'll see that it won't go in. Right after this, you're gonna start to close, and I close up. All right, I close up the fan, and I just do a one-hand close. If you don't know a one-hand close, you can have your other hand square it up as well, but you're gonna get this in jog just like that. So once again, it's here, here. Whether they push it in or not, it doesn't matter. If you push it in, you just honestly really try to push it in like that, but squeeze, and you'll see it won't go anywhere. And then close by just closing with the fan here, like that, and then square up. Now, what's gonna happen is a lot of the times it's gonna be messy at first. So it's here, it's messy. And all you have to do is just shake forward and square up everything, and then you'll have that, okay? From here, it's pretty simple. All you gotta do is really just push down on it, do a double undercut or a cut to the table or any sort of control that you may know, and you have the card on top. So once again, you have a card selected, and as they're showing all their friends do a fancy fan like this, you could turn away and say, go ahead, place your card back anywhere you want. They do this. Even if they try to push it in, you're putting pressure on there so they can't push it in all the way. Maybe you turn back and you say, yeah, push it in all the way, and then you square up right away. Give it a little kick like that, and you should get, see, this is usually, it's probably hard to tell on camera, this is usually the little break that I get, which is just enough for me to push down on it, get a break, or a lot of the times I would also kick it out and do a diagonal palm shift. I would do various things from here. It's really nice also as an added tip is if you want to do this and let some time go by, so you do this, you square up, you get that break, now you place it on the table, all right? If you place it on the table, then you can talk, or you can just leave it in your hands like this, and you could also spread again Because what's really great about this is that the in-jog will stay even if the card is spread. You can see it there at the pinky. So you can spread and then re-get that break. So I can do this, do that, and just talk and be very open. I could transfer this to the other hand as I talk. That's what's really great about getting a break, and that's what I would suggest when doing controls, especially in controls where you're talking and it's not just about the sleights and it's not just about look at my hands, I'm gonna show you this trick and show off. When you're really interacting with the spectator, it's really nice to do things like this where you're blah blah blah, you're talking, you're whatever, you put the cards down on the table, you pick it back up, and then when they're least expecting it, do some sort of control because you have that in jog. Alright guys, there you have it. That was the tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're almost at 100,000. Super cool. We're going to do something big for it. I'm planning it as we speak. And just one thing that I want to talk about when it comes to sleight of hand and learning these type of controls. A lot of the times it's not about the move itself. It's not about doing the move perfectly. And it's really just about breaking up the moments so you have time and just enough sort of leeway to perform how you want and to be comfortable in performing. That is super important when practicing sleight of hand, because I know we are consumed with learning the sleight and looking down and making sure the sleight is all perfect. But one thing that I do want to mention and really drill into your heads, especially if you're starting out, especially if you want to truly perform and truly show these miracles to people and make them smile, what you want to concentrate on is those moments in between when doing the sleights. So I get a break, or I get an in-jog in this case, then I just chill, relax for a second, talk to the spectator, tell them what's about to happen, ask them things. You know, routines shouldn't be the pattern listed up like it's a script from a movie. It should be the interaction between you and the spectator, and I think your sleight of hand will be less suspicious and you'll have a much better time in performing. That's all I got, guys. Thanks so much. Subscribe if you haven't, like this video, do all that stuff, share it around with your friends, and we will see you very soon.